think with what is happening, if we sustain and continue with it the way it has come, we return back to democracy. There's hope for democracy.
All right, very good to hear that, and there is hope indeed. Now, let's quickly go to Professor Abba of the Deputy Vice Chancellor of University of Abuja. Now, Prof, say for ASUU strike, a Nigerian child of 23 years is supposed to be a graduate or nearly so. If you want to evaluate the Nigerian democracy for 23 years now, how do you assess that?
Well, first and foremost, I think in Nigeria there are some gaps that we must fill in order to understand or put democracy at its own proper perspectives.
Right.
One, democracy is not an activity. It's a process.
It's a process.
It's not a project. It's a program. It's not a means to an end. It's an end in itself. So I think fundamentally there's an erroneous perceptions and understanding of the concept of democracy, not only by politicians, even by Nigerian citizens. If you look at what is happening in Nigeria today, and you want to assess the journey of 23 years into democratic leadership in Nigeria, I think the best way to approach it is to conclude that there are just motions without movements. Yes, the military guys have been taken back to their barracks. There are periodic elections. We have civilianized the leadership processes. But the fundamental question is this: are these realities synonymous with democracy? Are these realities on ground in tandem with democratic principles? Especially if you juxtapose these questions from the point of view of Nigerian historical realities within the context of Nigerian peculiarity and Nigerian typicalities. Wrongly, we ascribed to democracy in Nigeria what are not democratic, like the rule of law, like freedom of expressions, freedom of movement, etc. These are universal human principles, not democratic principles. Democracy is about the power of an individual to consciously, purposefully, deliberately decide to choose or to elect or to vote Mr. A against Mr. B, and retain the same power and authority to change the Mr. A when the need arises. In this journey, we have not reached that destination yet in Nigeria. And who are responsible for our democratic problems in Nigeria? The entire stakeholders in Nigerian democratic program, not project, are responsible for the dangers, the political danger signals that we are seeing in Nigerian democracy today. Am I going to clap for the 23 years journey? No. Especially if you placed the quantum of resources at the hands of the political class in Nigeria in the last 23 years with the various infrastructural development in Nigeria. It is a shame. We need to do better.
Right, thanks a lot, Prof. Prof has raised a lot of questions here, and we'll see how we'll get answers to them. Now, let's quickly bring Dr. Kunle Inyada from our Lagos studio into this conversation. Now, Dr. Inyada, democracy is said to be a process and not a project. And Prof has been asking a lot of questions regarding what we're supposed to have and what we're having. We're having a motion without movements. Would you say we're really having this process right, starting from 1999, that democracy started in Nigeria again?
Thank you so much. I would like to say that I believe that we have made a lot of progress when you talk of democracy in Nigeria. If we have not made progress, we will not be where we are. And if you look at various elections are taking place, you will see, except we do not want to acknowledge that fact, you will see the fact that there have been some improvement. Prof talked about, democracy being a process and not an activity. And you know that when you talk about process, we talk about there is always an opportunity for you to improve on whatever has been done. That's why we talk about process improvement. So take for instance, the last, the conventions that was held by PDP and APC. At least for the first time, you could see that there is nothing like imposition of candidates. So for me, that tells us that we are making good progress. If you also look at, and it gives us hope to say that the voice of the people matters, that everyone can aspire to be whatever they intend, to become, in this country. Yes, we talk about the issue of money, we talk about the issue of violence. If you study it over the years, from even the Second Republic to now, you will notice that there have been an improvement even in that regard. I remember I was very young and during this the Shagari regime, and the quantum of violence that you will see during election day is such that none of us want to go out. I was in secondary school, so you don't want to go out, during that time. But now you could also see that we have made a bit of an improvement. We need to know that we are not going to get, even America that happens to be the oldest democracy in the world, there are still stuff that they are battling with. You saw Donald Trump saying that, no, the election was rigged and all of that. You always have that in a democratic society, because democracy is all about the people. However, some people must be able to say, I want to put myself there, I want to grab that power, okay? So, and that is where the issue of accountability actually comes in, because now we get electorate who are more informed, who are more interested, because for democracy to survive, the voters must be more informed. The citizen must be willing to participate. We must leave docility to say, what, this is all about our life, this is all about our future. We want to, be involved in it. If you look at the current registration, for PVC that is going on, you see that there is an active, especially from the youth, because we have about 70% of Nigerian population is between the ages of 18 and and 40. So if you have this group of people being actively involved in politics, I believe that a lot of things are going to be redefined. For me personally, I think there is a movement. I do not believe that we just have emotion. I believe each day we make progress. And the president of this country, President Muhammadu Buhari, has given us a stellar example, in spite of the fact that some people think, he should have been more involved in this. That is what democracy is all about. And the president said, what, even though I have a candidate in mind, but guess what? I will allow the process. And that's what APC did. So for me, that is a progress that has given us good example as to what to expect in the future.
Dr. Yenda is saying it from a very different perspectives, and he believes that Nigeria is making progress despite the shortcomings that we are having. And take an example of the party primaries that we've just had, particularly that of a major parties, People's Democratic Party, and of course the All Progressives Congress, that is the ruling party. Now, Honorable Otu, you were of the Third Republic. Okay, by the way, Honorable Otu is of the NRC, thus the National Republican Convention, Third Republic. Though a very short spell, if you want to gauge what we had in that Third Republic with what we're having now, taking it from the legislative perspective, what do you see?
You mean during the elections proper?
No, the process now.
The process. Like I said earlier, that over the years, there have been some what Prof we call movement without motion.
Right. Motion without movement, actually.
It has been on and on until when this new election started bringing hope to us. In the Third Republic, even though it could be said by then it was a crude election, in the sense that even ordinary ballot that was supposed to be paper and put, which the contemporary people born now were human beings in the Third Republic. And when elections are counted, it will counted on the real principles of human perception of individuals who came to vie for positions. Yes, there's improvement. We must improve from using human beings because the so set visual of who is really the enemy.
All right.
Somebody, you'll be standing and somebody will walk across you to go and go for your this thing. You'll be feeling it even after the elections. And it's modified as modified open ballot. Now, if you compare that modification to what is happening now, we still feel that that election still stands the test and better.
All right, thank you very much, Honorable Otu. Now, earlier you saw a picture of what is happening at the Eagle Square right here in Abuja, Federal Capital Territory. I trust also we're going to bring them to you as they happen, but for now, that is still what you have at the Eagle Square in Abuja. Professor Abba, you saw some challenges in the process so far since 1999. If you want to be specific, what are those areas that you think are really begging for attention right now?
See, first and foremost, I think I want to make the record straight.
Right.
You see, when you evaluate a process, democratic process, it is designed, the process is designed either naturally, either technically or mechanically or programmatically,
right,
to address certain fundamental issues that concerns human welfare and human well-being in a society. So the democratic process has a destination to reach. When I say motions without movement, there are a lot of improvements, enhancement, and development in the democratic process. While the process was designed to achieve certain fundamental objectives, those objectives or these objectives are not achieved. And it couldn't achieve this objective because of the fundamental challenges that you raised.
Okay.
And I will itemize them. See, the first stakeholder in any democratic system across the globe, across the world, is the citizens. Now, if you ask yourself a sincere question, are Nigerians, could you define Nigerians as citizens after 62 years of our national independence? Are we citizens in the truest sense of the word called citizenship? Because only citizens vote. Only citizens demands political accountability. Only citizens change bad government and governance. Now, in Nigeria, for you to define a Nigerian as a citizen, there are three fundamental issues involved. Number one, is an average Nigerian properly, adequately, consciously educated politically? Not only from the point of view of the democratic process, no, from familyhood. From familyhood. How prepared, how well conditioned are families in Nigeria to now pass political educations to the younger generations? A father and a mother, a husband and a wife will sit over a dinner table with their own kids and tell them or give them democratic and political education. Are we having that in Nigeria? The answer is no. Our school system is completely off democratic ladder of the world. There is nothing democratic in our university system. There is nothing democratic at our secondary school and primary school system. So why will an average citizen get political education? None. The media, who is supposed to be another agent of socialization, is comatose in Nigeria, especially official media people like NTA, Radio Nigeria, and the rest.
How do you mean?
Because you are operating in a very stringent environment and conditions. It is a miracle how we are churning out these programs. Underfunded, not properly trained, not motivated. The executive is is blowing hot over your necks as you're preparing.
I'm not sure.
So
I can remember that we've complained about that. At
you
any
can't
moment in time.
I'm giving you a scenario in Nigeria.
Yeah.
The Nigerian media system has a lot to do as a stakeholder in democratic process. The religious institutions. Look, whatever you turn your face around in Nigeria, there is no miracle that will make the Nigerian democratic system to work effectively. So these are the challenges. And anybody who pretends, and let me tell you, part of the challenge is that ever since we started this program, we are all talking about APC and PDP, and there are 18 political parties. They held conventions. Why are you not referring to them? Because this is the culture you have been trained to do. It's the democratic. So I don't want to pretend. The era of pretension is over. 62 years, we are still pretending, deceiving ourselves that we are moving, there is progress, process is improving. To serve what purpose? Let's be sincere. Look, by now, up 23 years, like we have said, a child that was born in 1999 supposed to be a councillor in his or her local government, supposed to be a legislator at the state level, supposed to be even a commissioner at the state level, or a special advisor to a governor or a president. But up to now, this child is yet to graduate from a university. And you say we are progressing democratically. We fared better under the military than what we are experiencing today. In 1993, these people that were pushed aside after a successful election were far more better than the crop of National Assembly members that we have in today in Nigeria National Assembly.
Well, people will tell you that the wars of democracy will be better than the best military rule.
Only a fool, and a fool of the highest order, will tell you that the worst is better than the best. Do you agree, logically, that the best military administration could give way to a worse civil administration? And that's what we are here. We are conditioned. Walter Sisulu says, there is no weapon so potent in the hands of the oppressor like the mind of the oppressed. It's only an oppressed mind that will believe that the worst democratic government is better than the best military regime. It doesn't make sense, logically and scientifically.
All right, Prof. Why I hear from your perspective and what you have been able to put forward logically, despite the challenges, some people will still tell you, hey, we're making progress, the government is investing in different sectors of the economy and, of course, different strata. But now, let me quickly bring in, you are going to give us the solutions you see to these challenges you have mentioned so far. But let me bring in Dr. Inyada from our Lagos studio. Doctor, you talked about the progress we have made so far, citing examples of these political parties and, of course, the even-handedness of President regarding who is to be a candidate or who is to emerge as the president of a country succeeding him in 2023. But take that aside. You want to look at general participation in this democratic governance now. What do you see of Nigerians' participation in democratic rule in the country? Are you also still positive about this? Do you think we are still far from where we're supposed to be?
I don't think we are far at all. And for me, it's a case of half full or half empty. Like I said, we have made tremendous progress. Prof talks about voters' educations, and all of that. And I think voters' education starts from people like him and myself, in which we are able to educate our children, in which we are able to educate, our neighbors, our friends, and our associates in terms of us being involved. There are different types of government in the world. You have the military, you have the theocracy, you have the monarchy, you have the democracy. However, all over the world, the only one that guarantees your right as a citizen, I'm a proud citizen of Nigeria, the only thing that guarantees your right as a citizen is democracy. Because democracy is saying you can vote and you can be voted for. We have seen young people, being voted for, in this country. If you go, through the social media, thank God for the internet that you have now, which I believe to be part of the process. So if you go through the, social media, you see how the youth are actively engaged in, talking about right, talking about need for engagement of the citizens and all of that. The only question I begin to ask myself is that, okay, these are part of the elite, those who are on Twitter. In Nigeria today, or in the world today, if you have internet on your phone, you can access the social media, you are part of the elite. What about those ones in the villages who possibly have no access to electricity, access to internet, access to anything? So how do you engage them? And I want to say, because if you look at the population of Nigeria, about 54% or so of Nigerians are in the villages, are in rural areas. So we have that responsibility to engage these people. However, if you look at the voting patterns in this country, you will see that those in the rural areas are more educated, more politically involved even than some of us who are in the cities. So for me, that gives hope. The hope must start from the cities, where we have our children, we have our friends, where we have the professionals. If all the professionals, if all the naysayers, if all those who believe that, oh, no, we are not doing well, oh, we can do better, or if all of us that just say, let me just sit on the fence, politics is not meant for me. If we are involved, imagine what Nigeria democracy is going to look like. Now, look at the electoral act that the government, the president just signed. For me, it's part of the process. It is a sign, that we are making, progress. And all of us are here. If I like, I can call the president by his name. I can say whatever I want to say. Most of these things are only guaranteed under democracy. If you don't have democracy, I will not be able. I believe that Nigeria press is one of the freest in the world. Because we have press, you have the media that is extremely, active, extremely, intelligent also in how they are able to dissect social issues, how they are able to raise the consciousness of the citizens. I believe that the press is doing their bit. But when we talk about democracy, let's know that democracy is not just about the politicians. It's all about us. It's about you and I as a citizen of this country. And it's either you have a citizen who is proud to say, I'm a proud Nigerian, or you have a citizen who has lost hope, who say, I don't think there is any good thing in this country. Now, let me address the two. Let's start from the later. If I'm the citizen who believes that, there is nothing good in this country, guess what democracy is telling you? Democracy is telling you that get out of your comfort zone, be involved. And if I'm a citizen who says, everything is working fine, then we have to tell ourselves, okay, let us be very honest. It is working fine, but can we make it better? So for all of us, there is a role to play. The role to be involved or the role to improve. And if we are able to achieve this, I think our democracy will fare better than what it is now. You ask me again, have we made improvement? I believe that it is absolutely yes.
I actually admire your feelings about Nigeria, the positives that you see from this country so far, and you are asking Nigerians to get involved, to stand up and be counted in the process. Now, if you want to see the participation of Nigerians, I'm still sticking with you, Dr. Inyeda. The participation of Nigerians, particularly the electorate, would you say their involvement really matters in the process so far? Are votes counting in this country?
That our vote counts. Do we have rigging? Absolutely, you have rigging. But I also believe that you have to have a form of a simple majority for you to rig successfully. Look at it, for the first time in this country, a sitting administration was voted out. That happened because your vote counts. I do not think we should allow ourselves to be deceived, which is what I think some of the political strategists want to put in the minds of Nigerians, to say that their vote does not count. And once we believe that our vote does not count, guess what's going to happen? There's going to be voters' apathy. Oh, well, I'm not going to go and vote because my vote doesn't count. But I'm here, I'm not in any of the political party, but I'm here telling you that your vote do count, all right? Because if all of us go there, imagine we are 1,000 in this place and want to vote for one honorable something. Can one person come and display the 1,000 of us? The answer is a no. So our vote count has been counting. Is there rigging? Yes, there will be rigging. There will continue to be rigging. If the oldest democracy, tends to claim that there is rigging in the U.S., so who are we in Nigeria that we are just how many years old, 60-something years old? Who are we to say that there will not be rigging? However, do you want to prevent rigging? If your answer to that is a yes, as a Nigerian, the best way for you to prevent rigging is to be involved. You go to the polling booth, make sure that you voted. After that, the vote is to be counted. Stay there and be counted. And one of the things that I feel we also need to encourage ourselves is to volunteer to be involved. We have not addressed the issue of vote buying. We have not addressed the issue of money in politics and all of that. For me, so long as our followers are compromised, so long as the citizens are compromised, we'll get the kind of leaders that we are getting. Now we keep getting that kind of leaders. So if we are not a compromised citizen, if you are able to call those we have elected into questions and say, we ask you to do this, you better do it. If you don't do it in 4 years' time, we're going to vote you out. Guess what? We'll live and we'll be fulfilled because we are not compromised. But if I've gotten 1,000 or 1 million or 1 or 10 billion, then I'm able to keep quiet. Then guess what? Then the vote goes to the highest bidder. I believe that 2023 is going to usher in a different thing, for this country, because for the first time you see people, being interested. And what you need in democracy is interest and participation. And once you are able to get the two, I believe Nigeria is going to fare better than we are currently.
Right. Dr. Onyeda, seriously and honestly, I share that hope with you, and I believe Nigeria will continue to get better. But now let's take a break from this discussion as we'll bring you, okay, let's quickly see what we have at the Eagle Square right now, expecting the parade of at the Eagle Square. But before that, let's quickly bring you a report. It is 23 years of uninterrupted democratic rule in Nigeria, celebrated May 29th up until 2018 when the date was changed to June 12th by President Muhammadu Buhari. Political correspondent Kende at DBC say the day is a reminder of how far we have come as a nation.
In 1993, I was just a young primary school girl, somewhat unaware of the implications of the annulled 1993 presidential election. From then to now, a lot has changed in the nation's quest for economic prosperity and democratic process. Most of its success story, for example, can be found in the unity bestowed upon the nation as a result of June 12.
As a nation that has tasted military regime, June 12 continues to be a solid foundation upon which the country's political experience seeks inspiration. Democracy Day, marked yearly, is a constant reminder that one of the reasons for the doggedness to forge ahead in the last 27 years is the unity of purpose derived from the June 12 experience.
It's important to have a Democracy Day when we remind ourselves of the importance of democracy, when we remind ourselves of the sacrifices of others for us to have democracy.
Democratic activists started agitating for its restoration. So everything about June 12 is about democracy that should work.
Close to 21 years after the death of the acclaimed winner of the 1993 June 12 presidential election, MKO Abiola, President Muhammadu Buhari declared June 12 as the date for the celebration of Nigeria's Democracy Day.
It will continue off and on until the military release the result of the June 12 election and put the democratically elected president, who is myself, in charge of affairs. I won't go to war. I won't encourage my supporters to go to war. I will fight for peace, and we will get peace.
Our decision to recognize and honor June 12 and its actors is in the national interest. It is aimed at settling national healing process and the reconciliation of the 25-year history wound caused by the annulment of the June 12 elections. I earnestly invite all Nigerians across all our national divide to accept it in good faith.
Analysts say it is a symbolic feat in the historical compendium of the nation because many have in the past tactically ignored the place of pride of June 12. Late Abiola was also awarded with the title of the Grand Commander of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, GCFR, posthumously.
You don't see Abiola singing, I'm from Yoruba, I'm on Kokonfo of Yoruba. If he was preaching that to Nigerians, I don't think we accepted in other parts of Nigeria.
We should try to build a Nigeria in the manner of the ideals of June 12. As we move into the next election in 2023, we should be ready.
June 12 is a day that will not easily be forgotten in the history of Nigeria. This year's celebration is significant as it is just a few months to another general election that will usher in new democratically elected leaders. Nigerians are urged to imbibe the spirit of oneness displayed during the June 12, 1993 election, where ethno-religious biases were defiled in the quest to take the country to its rightful place as the giant of Africa. In Lagos, Kennedy, BBC, NT News.
Kende at DBC, thanks a lot for that package. And now we will talk about June 12th and the matters arising from it. But before that, let me quickly ask Honorable Otu, you are part of those who share the positives in this process so far. If you want to tell us quickly, what exactly would you say you admire in this process so far since 1999?
And June 12th?
No, talking about democracy.
Democracy. I've said it, that when Prof was talking, he talked about military being better than democracy. Yes.
Are you share that
I
view?
cannot share such a view.
All right.
I will rather tell you that if there is a problem we have today, the military has instituted it into us.
In what way?
Good. Look at what we are talking about June 12th. This is an election cost well won, and everybody knew that this election had been won free and fair, and have been affirmed even now that it's the fairest election ever done in Nigeria. It was annulled by the military. The military annulled it. Look at it now. The same, the president right now, a president, a civilian president, who was part of that processes of the military, has come back to heel. As he came, he is now telling us that democracy is better than military government by instituting June 12 as a day to remember the time evils of military regime were instituted onto Nigerians. If you watch when they were talking at the last processes of election in Eagle Square, one of the presidential aspirants came up and wept. He spoke glowingly on why there should be equity. Whether equity is not part of the process or is a process. He spoke glowingly, asking that a section of Nigeria is being deliberately denied a position because of the military creation of states. The civilians have tried all means to have the imbalance corrected. It's difficult. But the same military that caused this problem has caused it. What I'm trying to say is that if there's anything negative in democracy, it shouldn't have been correcting the effects of what the military have done to us over the years.
Right, thank you very much, Honorable. In as much as you've seen those negatives of the military, I want to be sure too that the military has done a lot in the development of this country. But now let's quickly go to Eagle Square, where it is happening right now, and we have one of our correspondents on ground, that's Ifeanyi Okafor, ready to give us some feelers from there and update from that part of the town. Ifeanyi, what's the updates? How is it coming through?
On the Senate President and the Honorable Speaker House of Representatives. As we run this program right now, may I please once more follow the man to keep us entertained.
Okay, thank you for joining us here. Thank you for joining us here at the Eagle Square. Thank you for joining us here at the Eagle Square for the Democracy Day celebration. Of course, it is the 2022 Democracy Day celebration, and we are expecting that anytime soon His Excellency President Muhammadu Buhari will be here. Of course, we've had for the past 1 hour all the dignitaries arriving one after the other. And as it is right now, the Eagle Square, we are live here from the Eagle Square, and we'll be getting back to you on activities lined up for today. We have, of course, the guard parade who are here. We have various dignitaries who have been seated, and the program will kick off shortly.
Look around, who are those dignitaries that you mentioned on ground right now, and when exactly, what do you have as part of the programs of events for this celebration today, Ifeanyi? Okay, if you can hear me clearly, you want to take us through the program that we have lined up for this celebration.
I didn't hear that quite well.
Okay, I'm just asking you to let us know what to expect from that event to celebrate this Democracy Day.
It's Democracy Day, as you know, and of course we expect that the president will be here, and he will obviously give some address to the nation on the 2022 Democracy Day program.
Very much, Ifeanyi Okafor. We expect more updates as soon as possible, and of course we'll bring the events live when it starts now. Professor Abba, June 12th was still a mirage until 2018, and President Muhammadu Buhari came in in his attempt to assuage the pains of this June 12th in the minds of the nationalists or those who struggled for this June 12th, and that brought about the declaration of June 12th as a National Democracy Day for this country, and of course giving of national honor, the highest one, to the late MKO Abiola, GCFR, and then Babagana Kingibe, his supposed vice president as GCON. And lots of activities then in 2018 in this regard. Do you think this effort by President Buhari has really gone anyway to assuage these pains?
First and foremost, I think we should be able to at least put June 12th at its proper perspectives.
Right.
Not only as a nation, but as historically as a point of our destinies as a people in Nigeria. You see, to me and to a lot of Nigerians, both within and outside the country, June 12th goes beyond mere a day that the military created a big gap in our national political history by annulling that very momentous elections. I think for the first time in so long a time in the history of Nigeria, we have unanimity of purpose and commonality of interest politically and democratically in Nigeria. It was not about Abiola, it wasn't about SDP, it wasn't about the actualization of that day. It was about, for the first time, Nigerians spoke in unison. For the first time, Nigerians voted on an informed position. For the first time, Nigeria achieved their differences, their perceived elites-motivated, elites-induced differences. And we went for a position that is national in character, national in nature, and national as a choice. So what Buhari did by institutionalizing June 12 in our national calendar is to just look within and based on courage, because it takes a courageous leader now to unwind historically what elite consensus imposed on a nation, on his nation. Because the annulment of June 12 was not an IBB's agenda alone. It was elite consensus against Nigerians. And for Buhari to come out in 2018 to say that, look, our Democracy Day is no longer May 29. Which, we are not taking anything away from May 29. It's historical also. But based on priority, June 12 is higher than May 29. So we salute Buhari's courage, and we call for further institutionalization process, so that at least in our primary school social studies, in our secondary school histories, in our university curriculum, we should be able to now mainstream this particular National Day and work towards its values, mainstreaming its values in our national psyche, from the younger generations to the older generations. Our challenge is that, look, check all those who participated actively, the principal actors in June 12. Where are they today? They are nowhere to be found. Why? Buhari only celebrated Abiola and Babakar Kingebe and the day. What about the multitudes of Nigerians whose blood was shed?
Those who were symbols of June 12 were actually celebrated.
Yes,
that included Gani Fawemi, and a lot of
blessed memory.
Yeah.
See, what happened to these people? What happened to people like Honorable Otu, who was changed by the Nigerian system through the annulment? What happened to them? And if you look at the reality on ground today.
But Prof, before then, there was no any efforts regarding June 12, but I think you should give it to him for at least to the president.
I think we should celebrate him for that courage,
right.
Because for him to take that decision, he went against the swam against the tide of Nigerian elite system.
Okay.
So I gave it to him, but the question is, I think it should go the whole hawk of celebrating others also.
All right. Thank you very much, Prof. Abba. Now, let's quickly bring the event to you as we take you through to the Eagle Square to see what is happening right now. See for yourself the sight and sound. All right, the sound and sides of Eagle Square apparently still waiting for the dignitaries who will kickstart the event for the celebration of Nigeria's Democracy Day, and you continue to get them as we have it from the Eagle Square. Back in the studio, Professor Sadiq Abba, Deputy Vice Chancellor of University of Abuja. I will want to continue with your thoughts about June 12th and how far it has gone in assuaging the pains of the pains in the minds of the nationalists and those who fought for it.
Yes. You see, like I was saying, I said we dove our hearts at President Buhari's decision. But now the question is this: after the national celebration, what comes next? There are thousands and hundreds and millions of actors of June 12 across Nigeria. What are the governors doing to identify those particular actors who are foot soldiers that cleared the ground for them to come and be governing Nigeria today? Why can't they identify those June 12 actors at state level and celebrate them? What about local government chairmen? They have June 12 actors in their own constituencies. Why can't they identify these guys?
You and I know the position or the condition of local government as we speak.
You see, this is part of the challenges of actualizing June 12, because
right.
June 12 is no longer a dream. It was a movement.
Right.
You understand? So you cannot have a movement without actors in the movement who push the movement processes. So they are still alive. Some of them are there, some are still alive. So my concern is this: none of them, if you look around Nigerian democratic space today, none of the actors of June 12 are active today. They were marginalized, they were sidelined, you understand? And strangers took over the process and are benefiting. So my concern is this: Nigeria as a state, Nigeria as a nation, is not about should. It's not. I'm not diplomatic. I'm just very. Nigeria must, as a compulsion, identify those particular actors and mobilize them, celebrate them from national to local government level, so that at least they will serve as political and democratic role models for younger Nigerian generations, so that at least we'll develop a democratic culture, a political history, and we'll be able to, like, the labor of our heroes past in our national anthem will now be actualized within the models, within the heroes of June 12th.
Thanks, Prof. Now, Dr. Kunle Nyada in our Lagos studio, you just listened to Prof regarding celebration of June 12. Is it enough for you to just declare June 12 as a National Democracy Day, or you think there are better ways of acknowledging the efforts of the heroes past in this struggle?
Thank you so much. I agree with Prof in terms of recognition, but if you want to talk about those who were involved in the struggles, how many of them were? Can you really, identify? And if care is not taken, if it's not properly managed, then you also discover it's going to be politicized. Now, June 12, as I understand it, when it comes to the June 12 day that we are celebrating today, it's not about Abiola, it's not about Tofa, it's not about Baba Gana Kinjigbe, it is about Nigerian democracy. And when you talk about Nigerian democracy, June 12 now provides the umbrella for all those people that have been involved, either before, during, or after. So if you want to be honored, I believe that so long as that June 12 is celebrated, we are doing it in remembrance of those who have participated in the struggle. However, like you said, I think we have to also go beyond just the day itself, because we're talking about democracy. What does democracy mean for us? Democracy is going to have better values in this country when you have good education. Then the labor of our heroes will not be in vain when you have good healthcare system, when people have good food, to eat. All right, then democracy will make more sense. All right, we cannot be celebrating June 12 when people feel so insecure in the society. We cannot celebrate we can't continue to celebrate June 12 or talk about democracy, talk about June 12 when people cannot point to tangible benefit. So, and the other time I talk about that we continue to make progress on a daily basis as a nation, and I believe that we have come a long way in terms of the progress, that we are making. What we just need to do is to build on it. And how do you build on it? We build on it by doing people-centric programs, not programs that benefit self at the top echelon of leadership. No. Either at the local government, either at the state government, either at the federal government, each leader must be conscious of what June 12 means. That June 12 stands for unity, that June 12 stands for freedom, that June 12 stands for empowerment of Nigerian citizens. And if you're unable to give these three, then whoever is celebrating June 12 is actually doing that in vain. Because we need people to be happy, we need people to feel secured, we need people to feel free, and we need people to feel empowered. Then June 12 will continue to make sense. And like Prof said, let's talk about it, to our children in secondary school, in primary school, at the university level. Let them understand the history of Nigerian democracy and how it has helped, how it has benefited. Of course, we can't do that without talking about the challenges. But while we talk about challenges, we should focus more on the prospect. For them to know, yes, it is true we have these challenges, but let us focus on a better future. Let us focus on the prospect. That if you are able to do it well, this is the kind of society that we are going to be building for ourselves. And that's what when we achieve that, then June 12 will have made a lot of sense, much more than it does currently. Thank you.
Thank you too, Dr. Kunle Inyada. Yeah, of course, you have your reservations, and a lot of people too do. Yes, we're having these challenges here and there, but other people too will tell you that we are having a lot to celebrate alongside democracy that we're having 23 years unbroken. And you want to agree with me too that there's no perfect democracy in the world. You also alluded to that fact, citing example of even the United States of America. Honorable Otu, we're having these challenges. It's not for us to take away, but we want to see how to get it right so that we just don't count numbers of years of democracy, but we want to begin to count achievements. What are those things we're supposed to put in front burner now to make sure that we're on the right track?
We, the Third Republic people,
right?
We saw June 12 as a total eclipse that came against democracy. And now we are celebrating the democracy. It's just straight. Democracy has no any other rock other than the parliament. It is only in parliament you talk about democracy. And each time democracy is attacked, the target is the parliament. And when the democratic institutions were being built in the early 90s, the parliament was observed as fundamental to get democracy institutionalized. And before then, democracy was instituted and parliament was established. And suddenly the hammer of anti-democracy fell on the parliament. I think what Prof is trying to say is that ever since that thing happened, those group of men described by them as new breed, that were versatile, young, spread in various professions, gathered, and they came to bear and believed very seriously on democracy. And ever since then, they are still working towards that institutionalization of democracy. What happened to them? When they came into this Abuja, it may be pathetic for you to hear it for the first time. That set of group came into Abuja as young, promising professionals.
All right, thank you very much, Honorable Otu. I understand we need to go to the Eagle Square now. I must say a very big thank you to you for your perspective so far, Honorable Gabriel Eniotu, member 3rd Republic House of Representatives from the NRC. We thank you and we hope to have you another time on the show on NTA. Thank you very much. Now let's go to the Eagle Square to see how to join the event.
watching his arrival, please band some scintillating rendition, please, while we expect his arrival. Thank you. It is Digris arrival climaxing here at the Eagle Square, Abuja, where the presidential parade marking the 2022 Democracy Day parade is taking place. Yes, that's expected. That's expected. That's expected. The siren blaring. And of course, to the far left of the state box, we can see the bagpipers standing preparatory to the arrival of the presidential limousine conveying His Excellency Mr. President. Please, once again, please, with all due respect and a very deep sense of reverence, the moment we announce the arrival of a very special guest of honor and he alights from the presidential limousine, wherever you are sitting within the Eagle Square, please, we rise in deference to his most exalted offices and his very distinguished personnel, please. Thank you. He is the number one citizen as we speak. Thank you. We can see the protocol officer line there, indicating that special guest of honor is close by. We want to thank the Most High for clement weather and journey mercies. Band, brief rendition, please, while we expect the arrival of Mr. President, please. When we say we'll let you know, please, band, keep the place busy, please. Thank you. Your Excellencies, very distinguished passing guests, ladies and gentlemen, we can hear the drumming, the bagpipers, sandwiching the presidential limousine activities in earnest. Please, once again, moment we announce the arrival of Mr. President, please. Signifying offices and his very, very dignified personnel. We always want to rise, please. See the bagpipers moving with the presidential limousine, inching steadily towards the saluting days. Very, very, very unique. And this is announcing the arrival of the very special guest of honor, the Revenue Officer, President Commander-in-Chief of the Armed Forces of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, His Excellency Muhammadu Buhari, has been received there by the Commander Guard Brigade. Now, steps forward to exchange presidential pleasantries with the dignitaries of parade. His Excellency the Vice President is on official trip. There we have this distinguished Senate President, the Right Honorable Speaker, His Lordship the Chief Justice, Honorable Minister of Defense, Federal Capital Territory, National Security Advisor, Chief of Defense Staff, Chief of Army Staff, Chief of Naval Staff, Chief of Air Staff, Inspector of Police, the General of the Diplomatic Corps, and of course, the Chairman ABC and the Chief of Staff to Mr. President. Please, can we all rise if you are still sitting, please? Thank you. Dignitaries, may please take your seats. Thank you. Your Excellencies, the national salute that heralded the arrival of the very special guest of honor, the Revenue Officer, President Commander-in-Chief of the Armed Forces of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, His Excellency Muhammadu Buhari, GCFR, over the parade commander now inches towards the saluting days on the mounted horse to give the state of the officers and guards on parade and of course the essence of today's ceremony to Mr. President and to very diligently request Mr. President to review the parade. We'll hear that shortly. Very distinct, unambiguous from the parade commander who doubles as the command officer 7 Guard Battalion, Lieutenant Colonel S.Y. Hazard. Now, His Excellency, the special guest of honor, will be accompanied on this inspection by the Commander Guards Brigade, Brigadier General Mohammed Takuti Usman. Happy viewing, Your Excellencies. And while the special guest of honor embarks on this inspection of the officers and guards, we want to take a quick look at the resume of the special guest of honor. The special guest of honor and reviewing officer for this historic year of 2022 Democracy Day Anniversary Parade is His Excellency President Muhammadu Buhari. He was born on 17 December 1942 in Daura, Katsina State. He had his early education in Katsina before joining the Nigerian Army as an officer cadet in October 1963. He had his military training in Kaduna, Nigeria, Great Britain, India, and the United States of America. In the course of his meritorious military and political career, he was appointed military governor of Northeastern State, now Borno State, in 1975. He also served as a federal commissioner for petroleum resources in 1976. The reviewing officer was appointed military secretary, Supreme Military Headquarters in 1977, chairman, Nigerian National Petroleum Corporation in 1978, head of state, commander-in-chief of the Armed Forces Federal Republic of Nigeria between December 1983 and August 1985. The special guest of honor had undergone so many military career trainings, amongst which are not limited to military training school, Kaduna 1963, Officer Cadet School, Aldershot, United Kingdom, October 1963, Platoon Commanders Course, Nigerian Military College, Kaduna 1964, Mechanical Transport Officers Course, Army Mechanical Transport School, Berlin, United Kingdom 1965, Defense Services Staff College, Wellington, India 1973, United States Army War College between 1979 and 1980. After a successful military career in the Armed Forces of Nigeria, he was appointed Executive Chairman of the Petroleum Trust Fund, PTF, between 1995 and 1999. In 2003, he ran for the office of the President and did not succeed. Undeterred, he contested again in two more presidential elections in 2007 and 2011, no success. As a man of determination, driven by his commitment to serve this great nation, he contested again in 2015 presidential election, where he emerged victorious and was inaugurated as a democratically elected president on 29th May 2015. After a successful 4-year tenure in office, President Muhammadu Buhari was re-elected for a second tenure in office on 23rd February 2019. Today, he's here as a special guest of honor and reviewing officer for this historic Democracy Day celebration of our great nation, Nigeria. And this is expected to be the calling off point. We have to say a very big congratulations to Mr. President. At this juncture, Your Excellencies, very senior military officers, distinguished invited guests, ladies and gentlemen, we want to take a brief look into the Democracy Day broadcast by the very special guest of honor, President Muhammadu Buhari, GCFR, both in honor of the acclaimed winner of the June 12, 1993 presidential election, His Excellency Bashiru Moshood Kashimawo Olawale, popularly known as MKO Abiola, GCFR, of blessed memory, and the right way forward for our great nation, Nigeria. All said, true loving Nigerian citizens, friends, and lovers of Nigeria the world over expectedly, most heartily, and most warmly congratulate the special guest of honor, reviewing officer, Mr. President, Commander-in-Chief, for his most mature and unbiased disposition on the stance of June 12, 1993, Nigerian presidential election that was adjudged the freest in the evolving annals of our great nation, Nigeria. And in spite of the debacle that dismayed the entire exercise and the almost 25 years disquiet between June 12, 1993 and June 12, 2018, the special guest of honor as the sitting president and commander-in-chief very magnanimously and shrewdly showed mentioning the celebration of our great nation's Democracy Day that hitherto held on 29th May of every year was moved to June 12th. This is what we are celebrating today nationwide. This is quite commendable and depicts a broad-based placement of national issues irrespective of ethnic affiliation, religious coloration, and social affinity. Quite commendable, Your Excellency, sir. We plead and pray most fervently that the Most High takes absolute control as we move towards 2023. Democracy, as the very special guest of honor, Reviewing Officer, Commander-in-Chief of the Armed Forces of the Federal Republic said in his Democracy Day nationwide broadcast, is an ideal that must be preserved and protected. Thank you, Excellencies, for listening. Very special guest of honor, the Reviewing Officer, President and Commander-in-Chief of the Armed Forces of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, His Excellency Muhammadu Buhari, GCFR. The inspection over. Shortly, we expect the parade commander to mount his horse dignifyingly and to seek presidential permission to carry on with the rest of the parade. We are going to hear that shortly. Once again, happy viewing, Your Excellencies. banquet time in earnest. Now, the march towards the saluting days, where the special guest of honor is to carry out 3 symbolic signals. Symbolic, telepathic transfers, no talking, no exchange of words. Now the first has to do with military tradition. If a subordinate has to embark on any occasion, any mission, he has to seek the permission of his boss. Now we are going to witness shortly the sword
officers, ladies and gentlemen, it is events unfolding here at the Eagle Square, Abuja, Nigeria, venue for the Democracy Day celebration of our great nation, Nigeria. At the moment, what we are witnessing is the march past in slow time by the various guards on parade this morning. And as earlier announced, we have 6 guards on parade. We have the number 1, 2, and 3 guard being provided by the Nigerian Army. And they are closely followed by the full complement of regimentation, that is the color party. And the colors on parade this morning are the national color, the Nigerian Army regimental color, the Navy color, and the Air Force color, being carried by commissioned officers known as ensigns to the colors. Behind the color party, we have the number 4 guard provided by the Nigerian Navy. They are closely followed by the number 5 guard being provided by the Nigerian Air Force. And the last guard, of course, for today's occasion is the number 6 guard provided by the Nigerian Police. We shall now take a look at the various guards and sub-guard commanders for today's occasion. The number 1 guard is commanded by Major Yauza Adamu Rabiu. The right sub-guard commander is Captain Jamil Mandisa, and the left sub-guard commander is Captain Abiodun Babatunde Jimo. Marching closely behind the number 1 guard is the number 2 guard, which is commanded by Major Tijani Omezi Yusuf. And the right sub-guard commander is Captain Mohammed Sheikh Ibrahim, and the left sub-guard commander is Captain Idobesi Marcus Ekom. Closely marching behind the number 2 guard is the number 3 guard, which is commanded by female officers. The guard commander is Major Christiana Oluwatoyosi Odukoya. And the right sub-guard commander is Captain Amina Ibrahim Shanga, while the left sub-guard commander is Captain Lydia Temitayo Obanla. Closely following the number 3 guard is the color party. As earlier mentioned, there are 4 colors on parade today, and these colors are carried by commissioned officers known as ensigns to the colors. The ensign to the national color is Captain Chizi Success Nnamdi. The ensign to the regimental color of the army is Captain Jafar Gejere Mohammed. And the ensign to the naval regimental color is Navy Lieutenant Bashir Adamu. While the ensign to the regimental colors of the Air Force is Flight Lieutenant Olarewaju Navy Ade Ujai. Marching closely behind the color party is the number 4 guard, which is being commanded by all female officers, just like we have the number 3 guard. This is done in accordance with the Geneva Convention for Gender Equality, where women are being given a pride of place in the society, and the armed forces are absolutely not left behind. The number 4 guard is commanded by Lieutenant Commander Veronica Inyen Efyon. The right sub-guard commander is Navy Lieutenant Mercy Amarachi Abai, and the left sub-guard commander is Navy Lieutenant Elizabeth Joshua Raymond. Directly behind the number 4 guard is the number 5 guard, commanded by Squadron Leader Oworen Unity Akube. The right sub-guard commander is Flight Lieutenant Michael Sika Basi, and the left sub-guard commander is Flight Lieutenant Bashir Umar Bello. The last guard is the number 6 guard, which is commanded by Superintendent of Police Ibrahim Al-Basu. The right sub-guard commander is Deputy Superintendent of Police Saleh Umar Magama. And the left sub-guard commander is Deputy Superintendent of Police Shaibu Suleiman Gadu. Your Excellencies, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, may I please once again request that when the color party marches towards its sitting position, you are all expected to rise as a mark of respect, while officers and warrant officers in uniform are to salute. It is still events unfolding here at the Eagle Square, Abuja, Nigeria, venue for the Democracy Day celebration of our great nation, Nigeria. I'm taking you back to the happenings on the parade ground. At the moment, the mass band who are standing on the center circle of the parade ground at the moment is commanded by Major Michael Ayobami. is a white parade horse of Sudanese and Nigerian breed. It has a weight of 700 kilograms, 7.2 feet. Standing here as a mark of recognition to the Chief of Army Staff, Lieutenant General Farouk Yaya's continued support. transition from slow time to quick time. That transition is one aspect of the parade of this magnitude that will be thrilling most of our viewers both at home and in the various stands here. And I'm very sure everybody will be looking forward to that moment and we'll witness that shortly. For that very seamless transition from slow time to quick time, a show of discipline and professionalism being exhibited by the various guards on parade, all to commemorate the 23rd Democracy Day celebration of our great nation, Nigeria. And with that transition, the various guards will take turns to march around the parade ground once again to pay compliment to the special guests of honor, to show their unalloyed loyalty to the exalted President and Commander-in-Chief of the Armed Forces of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, President Muhammadu Buhari. With the number one guard leading, another guards following suit, ascending order. As earlier mentioned, we have the number 1, 2, and 3 guard being provided by the Nigerian Army, and they are closely followed by the full complement of representation color party, comprising of the national color, the Nigerian Army color, the Navy color, and the Air Force color carried by commissioned officers known as ensigns to the colors. Behind the color party, we have the number 4 guard provided by the Nigerian Navy, and they are closely followed by the number 5 guard provided by the Nigerian Air Force. And the last guard, of course, for today's occasion is the number 6 guard being provided by the Nigerian Police. A quick reminder once again that when the color party reaches your stand, you are all expected to rise as a mark of respect, while officers and warrant officers in uniform are to salute. Distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, please, happy viewing. celebration of our great nation, Nigeria. Earlier, we witnessed the commencement of the march past in slow time, and it dovetailed to a quick time after all the guards paid their compliment to the special guest of honor. In a short while from now, would revert back to their position and come to hold by numbers, beginning with the number one guard, and other guards following suit in ascending order. And we'll witness that shortly. Distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, please happy viewing. The various guards, all to commemorate the Democracy Day celebration of our great nation, Nigeria. Thank you very much. Your Excellency, the special guest of honor, most distinguished invited guests, senior officers, ladies and gentlemen, at the end of the military and police march past in slow and quick time, the next event we'll be witnessing any moment from now is the combat march displayed by the Nigerian Army Women Corps. to the special guest of honor and the reviewing officer for this historic occasion. Permission has been sought by the commander of the Nigerian Army Women Corps Combat March Platoon and graciously granted by His Excellency, the reviewing officer for today's occasion. Distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, please a round of applause for the Nigerian Army Women Corps Combat March Platoon, commanded by Lieutenant Vera Jacob. Thank you very much. Operations as directed by the appropriate superior authority. Additionally, the Women Corps are participating in civil military cooperation activities in their various areas of responsibilities. Troops also participate in Operation Safe Conduct between March and April 2020. Distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, compliment being paid once again to the special guest of honor by the Nigerian Army Women Corps Combat March Platoon. Distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, please another round of applause for the Nigerian Army Women Corps Combat Platoon led by Lieutenant Vera Jacob. Thank you very much. Your Excellency, the special guest of honor, most distinguished invited guests, very senior officers, ladies and gentlemen. At the end of the combat march display by the Nigerian Army Women Corps, next on our program of event is a combined silent drill display by the armed forces and the police. Your Excellencies, distinguished guests, senior officers, ladies and gentlemen, advancing squarely and brazenly into this historic arena is the Armed Forces and Police Silent Drill Platoon. The platoon consists of 41 personnel. The Nigerian Army has 26, Navy 5, Air Force 5, and the police with 5 representatives respectively. And this is done in line with the Chief of Army Staff's vision, which is a professional Nigerian army ready to accomplish assigned missions within a joint environment in the defense of Nigeria. Platoon to the special guest of honor and the reviewing officer for this historic occasion before the commencement of their display. You to know that the combined silent drill comprising of the Nigerian Army, Navy, Air Force, and the Nigeria Police display is being introduced for the first time in the history of any national parade, which makes it unique and very interesting. Is to exemplify the discipline, professionalism, and synergy that coexist among the armed forces and the Nigeria Police. The silent drill is a variant of drill that invokes complex marching sequences, which usually deviate from drill used in the course of ordinary parade. As you can see, the rifles and troops shows the state of readiness of troops and proficiency in arms when the need arises. It also shows the ability of troops to take in rest, as one shoulders, another hold arms in the most disciplined manner. Into different segments there and transition from slow time to quick time, all happening concurrently with everyone knowing what to do at every point in time. Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, please, a round of applause for the combined silent drill platoon. Rifle synchronization, all happening concurrently. Distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, please happy for me. Paid once again to the special guest of honor by the combined silent platoon. Your Excellencies, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, please another round of applause for the combined silent drill platoon. A show of professionalism and high level of discipline being exhibited there. It may interest you to know that the excellent performance by the combined silent drill platoon you are witnessing at the moment was instilled by the very disciplined and highly capable and regimental Guards Brigade drill instructors under the guidance of the Guards Brigade Regimental Sergeant Major, RSM for short, Master Warrant Officer Sanusi Mohammed. Sequencing signifies the ability of troops to work round the clock to keep the territorial integrity of our great nation Nigeria, and also changing formation shows the resilient and dynamic nature of troops to adapt to the changing circumstances, the contemporary situation we find ourselves as a country. Interest you to know that the armed forces of Nigeria and the Nigeria police has been faced with a lot of challenges, but has always performed its constitutional roles in keeping our great nation Nigeria, as you can witness at the moment.